Hello YouTubers, and welcome to another Doctor Who DVD review. This time I shall be taking a look at the Rescue and the Romans box set, which features, let's see, what does it feature? Oh yeah, the Rescue and the Romans, of course, because it tells you right on the front cover. So there's no messing about, no cheesy names for the title of the box set. It's just simply called the Rescue and the Romans. So, the front cover of this box set has the TARDIS roundels, and it's like a dark, I don't really know what colour it's meant to be really. I suppose it's blue, like a really dark blue. And the middle of this cover has the First Doctor and, well, back then, his brand new companion, Vicki, who was played by Maureen, who makes a debut in The Rescue. Right here we have the villain from The Rescue, and we have the burning Rome, as well as the TARDIS and the planet, I believe it's the planet Dido there. So yeah, decent front cover for this DVD box set. This is a U. At the bottom it just gives you brief details about what this box set is all about. The TARDIS gains a new crew member, then travels back in time to Nero's Rome in these two classic adventures starring William Hartnell as the Doctor. This is 2 discs, so 1 disc for each story. And that is the side of the box set. It says The Rescue of the Romans there. And at the top it says Doctor Who, The Rescue, The Romans, and the bottom is just all your legal stuff, and inside that is where your DVDs would be when you first buy this. Right, so first off we have The Rescue, which takes place just after the Dalek invasion of Earth. Spoiler alert, at the end of the Dalek invasion of Earth, Susan leaves. So here we have what is basically a story which was made to introduce the next companion after her, Vicki, played by Maureen. But I say spoiler alert for the end of the Dalek invasion of Earth. Many Doctor Who fans who are probably watching this will probably know about Susan's fate at the end of that story anyway. But anyway, enough about the Dalek invasion of Earth. The Rescue. Here on the front cover we have Jacqueline, or however you pronounce his name, and he is with Vicki, and that's basically it really. In the background you just got like all the settings from the planet Dido. You can see a little bit of the ship where Vicki resides for a majority of the story. This is just 2 episodes long, so it's roughly around the length of a normal episode from the new series. And you've got like some sort of sunlight there. Decent cover. And here again you can just see a little bit more of the planet Dido along with the spaceship at the bottom. And it just says at the bottom there, to entertain, and you've got like that nice green strip. Well, I say it's nice, it's not really. The story was by David Whittaker. When the TARDIS lands on a supposedly peaceful planet Dido, or Dido, I think it's Dido. At the end of the 25th century, the Doctor, Barbara and Ian discover a crashed spaceship waiting for help. The only survivors have been murdered by natives, apart from a young orphan girl and a paralysed man. But who is the strange creature, Jacqueline? What are they afraid of? And will they remain safe long enough to be rescued? Special features included a commentary by William Russell, Christopher Barry, Raymond Cusick, moderated by Toby Haddock. We have Mounting the Rescue, cast and crew look back on the making of the story, which is actually quite a good special feature, this one, I will admit. Sometimes I find some of the special features, like making of ones that is, to be a tad boring, but some of them are really good, and I think this is a very good one, because this is of course the first time we got a new companion after one left. And we also have some contributions from Maureen O'Brien and Ray Barrett on that special feature as well. And that's it really. We have radio timings billings, which is a normal thing on these type of DVDs. Raymond Cusick's original design drawings. That's a very good documentary. I'd highly recommend you check out that special feature. And all the rest are the usual stuff. We have special features. We have a coming soon trailer, which is for Attack of the Cybermen, starring Colin Baker. The story was originally broadcast on BBC One between the 2nd and 9th of January 1965. This was his first story, transmitted in 1965. It came as the third story from the second season. Produced by Verity Lambert, directed by Christopher Barry. Contains original black and white footage, of course. The liner notes is by Mariah Lang, and the cover was by Clayton Hickman. The runtime for this is 49 minutes. As I said before, it is 2 episodes long. Here is the leaflet inside. It just gives you a little bit more, and it gives you the scene selections and all that. And here we have the main disc work, and it seems at the bottom here you can make out what it kind of looks like the First Doctor's title sequence. It could just be me though. Right, so brief thoughts on this DVD release of The Rescue. Well, The Rescue, I say, was made purely to just introduce a new companion. The cast for this is extremely small. It's an extremely small cast, and this story is easy to view in one sitting. It's not boring by any means. I'd say maybe... Well, I say maybe. Is it a filler story? I wouldn't class this as a filler story because I'd say go and watch this purely because it introduces Vicki for the first time. But as I say that, there's nothing all that spectacular about this story. The production values on this are dated, but of course we have to remember this is 1965. The budget back then was very limited and they had very little time to film it, so I'll let them get away with that. But for the most part, as a story, I wouldn't say it's the most memorable story ever made. But as for the special features on this DVD release, I would say they are quite good. They're very interesting, especially the making of documentary, as well as all the design work for this story. So I would check out those special features if you want to get this DVD. But as a story, not that brilliant. The villain, not that brilliant, and yeah, it's just basically a story just to introduce a new companion to replace Susan. The second story in this box set is The Romans, and I feel that this is the better out of the two. On this front cover we have quite a few things going on here. We have the First Doctor, and he's dressed up in Roman attire, as well as Barbara and Ian, as you can see there. I had trouble getting my words out there, I needed to swallow. And we have the Roman Emperor Nero on the right there, and in the background we have a burning Rome. I quite like this cover. It's easily the better cover out of the two, because I don't know, the first cover, well, I think it's alright. I much prefer this one because there's a lot more going on, and plus you've got the Doctor on it as well, because a real rare for Doctor Who DVD covers is that they don't feature a Doctor. But on this, it does feature the Doctor. I say that as well. On the cover to Genesis of the Daleks, Tom Baker doesn't actually feature, and that is an amazing cover. But anyway, I'm rambling on. Nice cover. And here you just got like a little bit of the burning Rome and the spine there. And like you have some nice patterns there in the special features section. This story was written by Dennis Spooner. He wrote quite a few good, cracking stories from the early 60s period of Doctor Who. Italy, 64 AD. Enjoying a rare holiday with his companions, the Doctor takes Vicki to visit Rome, where he is mistaken for the musician Maximus Petulian. He finds himself obliged to perform for Nero, or risk incurring the Emperor's wrath. In his absence, Ian and Barbara have been kidnapped from the villa. Separated and sold into slavery, they face a bleak future. Can they make their escape and find the Doctor before Rome is consumed by fire? Special features include the commentary by William Russell, Nick Evans, Barry Jackson, and Christopher Barry, who also directed this, as well as The Rescue. And this is also moderated by Toby Haddock. What has the Romans ever done for us? Actors, crew and historians look at both the reality and fantasy behind the story of the Romans. Roma Parva, which is translated to Little Rome. Christopher Barry demonstrates the use of model of set, quite good model work, quite a good special feature there. Dennis Spooner won a Wright television series. A look at writer Dennis Spooner's work on Doctor Who, and I'd say that is probably the best special feature on this. Although Girls, 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 the 1960s, an affectionate look back at the 60s Who Girls, that's also a very good special feature, because it basically just tells you about all the companions, all the way from Susan Foreman to Zoe Herriot, so basically all the female companions from the 1960s era of Doctor Who. We have Blue Peter. The team hold a Roman banquet in the studio, or banquet, however you pronounce that, and all the rest, the usual stuff. Again, it says coming soon's trailer. That's, again, the trailer for Attack of the Cybermen. This story was originally broadcast on BBC One between the 16th of Jan and the 6th of February 1965, produced by Verity Lambert, directed by Christopher Barry, contains original black and white footage, liner notes by Sue Crawley, covered by Clayton Hickman, and the runtime for this one is 97 minutes, so we're back to the usual 4-part 25-minute episode format here. And here again we've got the leaflet, and there is the disc, and I quite like this disc. I know it's a small detail, but I don't know what it is. I just really like the artwork, what they put into the disc, and they just didn't do a half-assed attempt and just use the front cover again. Overall, The Romans is, as I said, the better story out of the two. Again, not perfect, but I quite like it, especially seeing as it is a historical, and I am a complete sucker for historical stories. I know some Doctor Who fans don't particularly like the historical stories, but in my personal point of view, historical stories, they're the way to go for me, and I wish we got a lot more of these, because historical stories, they're top notch to me, and this is pure historical as well. The only sci-fi element in this is the Doctor, as he's an alien, and the TARDIS. That is the only sci-fi element. Apart from that, it is a pure historical story, so there's no alien villains, nothing like that. It's a pure historical. This is what we got a lot of times during this era of Doctor Who. So the Romans, I quite like it, and I'd say it is definitely one of the best historical Doctor Who stories of all time. And they've injected quite a few comedy elements into this story. I believe you could say this is probably the first Doctor Who story that attempted comedy, or at least intended to attempt comedy, that is. Because we get the first comedic death in Doctor Who history, and also we got the character of Nero, and he looks like he's a character that comes straight out of the Carry On films. I mean, episode 3 alone, it just basically felt like a carry-on film to me. But that's a good thing, because I love the carry-on films. So all around, The Romans is a very good story, and it is probably the very reason why you should pick up this box set as a whole. I don't know why people have bad things to say about this box set overall, because The Rescue and the Romans, they're two good stories, especially The Romans. I mean, yeah, The Rescue, you could argue, may have been a filler story just to introduce Vicki, but The Romans, what a great story. I highly recommend that you check out The Romans, because in my personal opinion, it is one of the best historical stories ever made for Doctor Who. But if you're not a fan of historicals, then maybe you should hold off for a while and wait until you really know you want this. So that's that. Thank you very much for watching my DVD review of The Rescue and the Romans box set. Stay tuned for more on this channel, and I shall see you next time.